Hey everybody, this is Rudy with Alpha Investments, and today I want to go over what I feel is the original and the true masterpiece series from what deserves a lot more credit. Because today everybody's so obsessed with the masterpiece inventions, every set's going to have expeditions, there's lottery cards everywhere, all the base sets are terrible. I want to take you guys back to what I feel is the original lottery cards, the original true inventions, the true masterpieces, the things that will never ever in this world be, legendary like they were back then. There's nothing that Wizards can do today to create the type of stuff that was made years ago. There's just no way. The power level, the creativity, the flippin' artwork. Flippin' gremlins. There's little gremlins. Do you see those eyes? It's crazy. Poltergeist with people hiding under tables. There's so many things to talk about in the original Antiquities set. I call it Antiquities. I like it. I like the accent. Antiquities. Anyways, I just don't think that, I feel like nothing can even give it enough credit or respect to how far Magic has come. So in this video, you guys can just sit back, chill out. You can either listen to this as a podcast while you're driving, or you can watch the video. I would recommend watching it because there's a ton of gorgeous, beautiful cards I'm going to go over, show, and discuss in this video. I'm not sure how long this video is going to end up being because I really just want to talk about it and discuss a lot of things that really hit home for me and really create large amounts of nostalgia that are just unexplainable. I can't even give you guys a good, crisp understanding of my feeling and my connection towards these cards. My childhood nostalgia, middle school, high school, to college level, to, I feel like these cards have seen things, man. These cards have been places. It's like, these cards, I've seen things, man. This is the real deal here. This is the real shit. This is the stuff that hopes and dreams are made of. This is the stuff that when you graduate college, they give you a speech at your ceremony, and these are the type of things that speeches are written around. That's how I feel about this shit. So, I just, first of all, in this video, I'm going to have 4 complete sets of pretty much near mint to mint, mostly packed fresh Antiquities. There's 4 complete sets in this video. I have 4 notebooks. I got 1 here, 2, 3, and 4. So we have 4 complete sets of Antiquities in this video. I don't know if that's going to focus that far away. So they're all the same, and I kind of just want to go over and discuss these types of things and really kind of give some credit where credit's due. And lately, ever since the reserved list, the buyouts, the different things, I think a lot more people are kind of swinging around, and they're noticing that there are so many obscure cards. Obscure cards that are just, look at the artwork on that. I don't think I could climb that staircase. I don't think I could do it. There are so many random things that people don't even just know about. You know how many cards that I can hold up and be like, hey, have you guys ever even seen that picture before? 99% of Magic players worldwide have probably never even seen that picture before. So, just my opinion. Everybody, when you talk about Antiquities, all everybody cares about is pretty much the big 4 cards. Candelabra, for the love of God. The Workshop, for the love of God. A little bit of Tano's Coffin. That's kind of a thing. And then lately, of course, there's been a little bit of activity on some other obscure cards. There's a lot of cards I'm very, very surprised that haven't done a whole lot. Look at some of these old. And there's a lot of people don't even realize the color scheme, the lighter artifact color. On Antiquities, you have thinner black borders, so there's more actual brown and color artwork. A lot of people don't realize crap like that. If you hold up the rack next to a white border 4th edition or anything like that, you're going to see the biggest thing that's going to stand out, obviously between white and black border, is going to be things along the lines of actually a thinner black border versus the size, the way they printed it, the way the centering and the focus was. I don't even have a good word for it. How many people have even seen that artwork before? I don't even think most people have ever even seen that before. How many people have seen that artwork? Exactly. It's just things that literally you could go to a card store, an F&M, hold up that card, and you could tell people anything because they're going to be like, I've never seen that in my life. Never seen it. I remember when this card was deemed as garbage because it was a 4 colorless, my favorite. I call him Sushi, but I know it's Sushi, whatever. 4 colorless for a 4/4. And then he dies, you get your 4 colorless back. Back in the day, there was mana burn. So when this card was actually played, people didn't like it. People didn't want to play with that card back in the day. That card was deemed terrible because if your opponent killed it, you really had no way to actually use the 4 colorless mana. Therefore, you would take 4 damage from mana burn. So that's an example of how come mana burn doesn't exist anymore, and why is that card at the price it is. I don't know if it's reserved list or not, but I think it's a great example. And of course, I mean, you have what? The original Millstone, I think it is? Good Lord. Look at that thing. It's ridiculous. I could sit here for hours and just look at these cards. I can literally just sit here and look at these things because I just think it's insane. You know, I mean, the main ones people know about. Everybody's seen this artwork. Everybody knows some of these main cards. Everybody's seen it. Everybody's heard of it, mostly because reprints in like 4th edition and a lot of reprints in maybe Chronicles and different sets. So a lot of people are pretty familiar with these things, but there's a lot of cards that were not reprinted. There's a lot of cards, I mean, how many people would recognize that artwork? Okay, I mean, how many people are going to recognize this artwork? I mean, people aren't going to recognize these type of things because it's just something that's so long gone. I mean, look at this guy. Look at that stuff. I mean, hello. I mean, lately you've seen a lot of these cards, like the Avenger, a lot of random cards lately. Remember back here, Gate to Phyrexia. These used to be $1 or $2 cards for years. And lately you are starting to see a lot of activity in a lot of these older sets and a lot of these random cards back in the day. But for the longest time, honestly, I don't think anybody really cared about these things. And by the way, you'll notice this set is so old. Like blue cards have 7 cards. That was it for the entire set. White cards, 7 cards for the entire set. Red, what? 2, 4, 6, 7 cards. I mean, it was like, are you kidding me? How many blacks were there? 7. Okay, so I guess they're all equal 7. I mean, that gives you an idea. This was a set that was made so long ago. I mean, there are more lands in this set and variations than there are actual colors of cards. And you know, I know all everybody cares about is pretty much these two. Isn't that a beautiful workshop? I should get that graded. Anyways, the thing is, and of course, the factory, and of course, just the fact that it's snow gets people all wound up because, I mean, the artwork is just so extreme. They don't make anything like that because all the other versions, and especially the, the regular version that was reprinted in, 4th edition and other sets, that one's the most common, so it demands less of a premium. And it just shows that a card like this, you know, the Winter is worth 4 times the value of the same card, which is a different picture. And I think that's a perfect example for a lot of people that always say, hey, Rudy, does artwork affect card value? The answer on situations like this, yes, it affects it big time. Because there's a lot of people out there that will pay 3 times the price for a mint one of these. Go on eBay, look around the internet. True mint workshops with no dings and damage. True mint factories that are actually winter. These things will fetch huge, huge premiums. And honestly, I don't think anybody's seen anything yet. I think this is still in kind of a growth phase. And right now we're leveling out from all the collateral damage and everything that's happened in 2016 from the buyouts and the volatility of this year. But I do still think there's a lot of things coming down the line for a lot of these old type of sets. And yes, this was one of the original sets like Fallen Empires that would print a card and have 4 versions. 4 versions for one card. You know, I mean, the factory had it. Strip Mine had it. I think all the Urzas, the plants, the mines, and the towers, I think they were all 4 each. And it just shows you that, you know, back then, you know, things like that were looked at differently. I mean, they made this entire set of Antiquities is under 100 cards. There's no rarities. There's just U1s, U2s, and commons and uncommons with different times they appeared on the print sheet. Remember, the booster packs only had 8 cards, and a box had 60 booster packs. So that alone was a big difference. And again, lately, you've been seeing a lot of weird cards, like things like this. You've been seeing cards like Hercule's Recall. You've been seeing a lot of these other cards. Hello? You know, you've been seeing a lot of these strange cards lately, all of a sudden have been going up in value. And in the past, for the longest time, you've never seen any movement on any of the cards. And all of a sudden, guess what? Lately, out of nowhere, after all these years, we're finally seeing movement in some of these obscure, strange cards. So because of that, I don't know what the long-term prospect and value is of overall, like the entire set of stuff like this. You know, and you can go over here to the second set. It's the same thing. If we go over here and we flip through, the same order, same cards, so I mean, nothing really excited to get about here. if you look at these things, and these type of cards, the same thing, these things are the ones that seem to be getting movement lately. And I don't know if it's just one person doing buyouts. I don't know what's really kind of causing, I don't know, people to go after them. Or just a lot of new people are going back because they're older and they have disposable income. So, again, I'm not really sure. But I just really want to take a few moments out today, and I really wanted to go over some of this old stuff. Because I don't think anybody really appreciates it as much as I do. And I know they always say if you're going to be investing in things, you really shouldn't mix your personal feeling and have emotional ties to investments, because that's not really a smart or prudent thing to do, because then it can create very distorted opinions in reality. You can make decisions that aren't really in the best interest of yourself long term, all because of the fact that, well, simply put, you just like the card more than it's actually worth, and you're going to assign a value to it that really isn't as high as it, or I'm sorry, it's too high. So I really want to focus on the set, specifically the fact of some of these cards. And I know it's a small set. There's only a few pages to even turn here. But I really do think over the next 5 to 10 years, we're going to continue to see a lot of obscure movement. Look at that picture. Look at that guy. How cool is that guy? You're going to see a lot of really weird movement and a lot of really weird things happen with a lot of these cards that people don't really focus on. And I think you're going to see a lot more buyouts and weird things. I know lately most of the buyouts have been focused on the big boys or certain, moats, workshops, libraries, and a few other obscure things along the lines. But overall, a lot of the cards have moved up just out of fear of people buying them. But everything has calmed down and kind of backed off quite a bit. And for me, even in the big picture, when I've gone over the years, I have also a miscellaneous notebook where I keep a lot of extra cards, where I just have extra ones from over the years of just cards and things that I just never really did much of. I mean, you can see the prices. I bought some of these for, 200, 225, 200, 250. I bought some of these things over the years more recently, and a lot of these sets are a lot older than that. I have to pull the records and spreadsheets of what I actually paid for some of these sets completely, but I really just don't remember what I paid off the top of my hand. If I had to guess, I'd say each complete set of Antiquities, I'd probably pay between maybe $500 to maybe $800 a set would be my guess, but I really don't have a number off the top of my head. Look at that. How many people have even seen that before? Does anybody even play with half these cards? Now, this is something. Everybody remember this. All of a sudden, colorless mana became a thing. Oath of the Gatewatch, all of a sudden everything changed, And that just reinforces that nobody can really predict the direction or what's going to happen with a lot of these sets. And that's kind of why, in my personal opinion, I just, I don't know what else to say about this stuff. This is just something to me that I really don't assign much of a value to a lot of these, because to me, I don't think I'd ever have a hard time selling these. Even if somebody offered me $2,000 or $3,000 a set for some of these cards, I'd still have an extremely difficult time selling some of these things. I just think that some of these things are just going to be irreplaceable going into the future, especially having them in unplayed condition. I mean, to have some of these things that aren't actually damaged, I think that's where it's really going to come in. The premiums are going to get really, really different as the years go by. The difference between a pack fresh archaeologist versus a slightly played or moderately played, I think that spread is going to continue to get wider and wider. And I still think a lot of weird cards, a lot of ones that just really nobody is just like, what's the point of some of these? Who cares? I still think you're going to see, I always love the fact that they forgot the set symbol in that card. I don't know why. That always just cracked me the hell up. And I just think we're going to continue to see a lot of these random things move up, and I think a lot of them have a lot more room to run. So I just like to show you guys a lot of these. I just know some of you are watching this going, Rudy's just rambling. I've seen all these cards. I have these, but, I wanted to show this video because I feel like there's a lot of people out there that when we talk about the old artwork and the different things out there, I think there's a lot of people that don't realize Circle of Protection artifacts. I think there's a lot of people out there that don't realize how far the artwork has come. And a lot of people don't quite grasp the difference when we talk about old artwork and we talk about the actual more hand-drawn, watercolor, very complicated artwork versus today's computer-generated things. I mean, we can talk about it all day long, but until a lot of people actually see these or hold these in person, I mean, you really can't explain it. I mean, they don't make it. It has a very raw feel to it. It doesn't feel polished. I think that's a good way to say it, in my opinion. A lot of these, they don't have a polished feel. So, I mean, that's kind of really all I have to say about all this stuff. Like I said, I'm going to come over here. I'm going to show some extras I may have. These are just extra cards I bought over the years. And again, like I said, the cards don't feel completed, maybe? Like, the artwork just feels so gritty to me. It just has such a gritty... I mean, look at the Ornithopter. Look at that. You know, it just has such a gritty, real, I don't know, Indiana Jones, you know, choose wisely type of thing. It just has such a raw, nice feel. Oh, I didn't know I had an extra Avenger. You know, and that's the thing that really attracts me. So, you know, I don't think it's appreciated enough. So for people out there who always ask me in private messages, does artwork affect long-term value? On these old sets, I think yes. Does artwork affect long-term value on a lot of the new sets and different things? I just don't think so, because again, the print runs are too high. Wizards is getting so much pressure from Hasbro now to reprint things. Wizards is getting so much pressure to keep pushing out product to raise top-line sales. I just think at the end of the day, there's never going to be a substitute for when the cards were printed originally. And when these were made, when this stuff was invented, nobody had any idea these were even going to be having anything of value. Everybody assumed these cards weren't going to be worth anything. They were just playing cards. So that's the textbook definition of making something limited that's going to be amazing and collectible. Because when you make something and it's originally has no intent of being collected, that's usually going to be a good sign, because that means most people are going to destroy it and not treat it as a collectible. When things are released today and people get a nice foiled Jace, oh my god, or a nice invention or a Kaladesh, you know, whatever, Soul Ring from Kaladesh invention, I don't know. When people get those today, they're immediately going to know, oh my god, double sleeve it, nobody touch it. Everybody knows from day one that they're going to be collectible. Therefore, nobody's going to mess with them, which means, you know, you're not going to see a bunch of played, damaged, moderately played Kaladesh invention cards, because people know that. The behavior of everybody, due to the past, is shifted. And when everyone's past behavior, and now everyone's lined up in a row doing the exact same thing, because of that, Kaladesh invention cards are never going to be worth tons of money. They're never going to skyrocket. I mean, the only thing that has a possibility of being a lottery card and actually going up in value is going to be the Expeditions from Zendikar, because they were the first time they did it. It was first to market. And even then, using it very loosely, because they're all reprints. So, it's Rudy with Alpha Investments. It's about how I feel right now. I just wanted to show you all a bunch of really neat cards, and I hope everybody appreciates it. And yes, I just like to look at these things. I like to ramble. I like to talk about it, and I just hope you all appreciate this type of stuff the way I do. I know a lot of people don't, but a lot of people who've been around for a long time and dealing with this stuff. I've been in Magic for 22 years now, 21 years, and like I said, I've seen a lot of shit. And like I said, there's not many substitutes for things like this. So I hope you guys enjoy looking at this old stuff. I hope you appreciate it as much as I do. And it's a nice little thing. Sail off into the sunset. You guys have a great day, and thank you, patrons, for everything. And I hope you guys are enjoying the new Alpha Investments t-shirts, and I will talk to you all later. Thank you very much.